Yes, the go to hello. Awesome. All good. All good. All good. Okie dokie. So I see. We wanna wait. Let's try to wait an extra couple of minutes if you don't mind. So just for people to tune in, and then we can kick it off. So in the meantime, long story short, the reason why also we decided to run this on Discord is in this way. Everybody that has a question later can just step into the stage together with me and directly ask any question after my intro. The way I'm thinking to go through that is mostly to having a sort of let's call it retrospective on what happened, and few of course to make you fully available and aware of what are the next step forwards, and then after that we can just jump on to any questions that everybody might have. We will also, of course, for those that won't be able to join us this morning or this afternoon, this night, whatever you are in the world, we will, of course, write down the team, and Sanjay and Axel will take care of writing down a sort of a recap of what is going to be discussed today. And so we will move forward from there. Okay, let's wait the last minute and then we kick it off. Well, okay. Usual 5 minutes has been passed. The 5 academic minute, so we can kick it off. Okie dokie. So, where do I start? It's actually something that I've been thinking through the whole day. Where do I start this conversation about our future? But as I said, I think the best way for us to do it is kind of sort of a little bit of retro of what happened and how are we planning to move forward. First of all, I just gonna, straight jump into the question that people might have, and I think is gonna be the question that most of the people have is the Kmon project dead? Short answer, no, it's not dead. That's something that I want to make everybody aware. No, the Kmon project is not dead. Definitely, we are having a very big setback at the moment. But as I always mentioned, within the entire internal team, but also within the community, the Kmon project will still be alive up until I don't give up, and I don't give up until you guys don't give up. So up until the community is there, up until you guys are supporting and willingness to move forward together, then the project is not dead. It doesn't matter if we have no more money. It doesn't matter if it's gonna take more time for delivery what we have to do, if we need to go back to the beginning, start setting up a team again, or creating new communities again. Doesn't really matter. What's really matter is the community, the core community that has been with us since the very beginning, still with us or not? Because the project will die the moment that you guys give up. And so again, to answer the question, no, the project is not dead. But of course, we need to be also realistic that this, is an unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in. And just to give you a bit of, retrospective for those that have been with us since 2021, and today, guys, literally, and also the reason why I wanted to do this in Discord is because I thought it's a good way also for us to go back to the roots, go back to where we started. We started here in Discord with my first AMA. My first AMA for the community was actually hosted on Discord, for those that remember that. And it was summer of 2021. So 2021 when we started, it was a great, it was a great success at the beginning. The community grew tremendously. Of course, also the market and the overall, momentum and the timing was right. I think that if we had launched the Pokemon project this year, it wouldn't had the same blast and success that we had in early 2021. And the reason it's pretty much simple, of course, is because in 2021 Web3 gaming was this land of full promises, where there you have project like Axie Infinity that was technically speaking was the only Web3 game out there that was literally printing money. Remember that Axie Infinity in 2021 went from generating like $100,000 revenues a month in April to generating $30 million monthly revenues in June. So in literally 2 months, Axie Infinity went from 100K to $30 million in monthly revenues from NFT trades. So, the hype and the momentum towards Web3 gaming back in 2021 was extremely high. And I think, the timing where I launched the first landing page in the white paper, just for those that are, that weren't with us since the beginning, everything started by myself. I actually wrote down the first white paper myself. I built the first website myself, and everything, and we had a very big blast. And I started, of course, also onboarding some extra colleagues of mine to help me out, and some of them were good, some of them were not good, but we had a very big blast in 2021, and I could say that, also with the launch of the Kmon token was a successful launch, and we were be capable to raise the first money with those, starting the operations and everything. And I think if I look backwards, in my position as a CEO and lead of this project, I can definitely pinpoint, where the how can I say, where the things went wrong, where I took the wrong decisions, and how I should have acted differently in specific cases. And it's kind of unfortunate. It's always easier to do this job in retrospective, looking backwards, because it's impossible, of course, looking forwards. But for those, you need to consider that indeed. I mean, back in the day, for me, Cayman started as a side gig. I was still working on my full-time job. My son was just born, and I had this amazing response from the overall community and from the overall market, and we capitalized on that. And actually, looking backwards, I think that for me was the first time personally, in my entrepreneurial journey, that I had to deal with such as a very big hype and such as a very strong launch. That there I made my first mistake. And my first mistake has been, get flabbergasted and glazed by, all of this hype. And I had literally, guys, back in 2021 during the summer and the fall of 2021, I had venture capital texting me on LinkedIn. Everybody wanted to jump on board. And that's, I think, it was my first mistake. It was that, I let a lot of people, jumping on board when I shouldn't let them, or I should have let them, but I should have been way more cautious of the reason why they were jumping on board. And I'm not talking about people like Sanjay or Proruki or, Axel or Brian, people that were coming from the community. I'm talking from people that didn't came from the community, people that came from the outside world and saw, this fleshy, pumped object, and they just want to, step into it. And my mistake, I think, my first mistake has been done that. Also, because at the end of the day, when the object wasn't flashy enough, all of that people, left, or simply didn't perform, or simply didn't push themselves at 110%, as instead the people that joined the team coming from the community have done, such as Axel, Sanjay, Brian, and many other, Tyler back in the days, and so on and so forth. So I think, that it was a very big blast 2021. And overall, the biggest issue, it happened when, we leveraged and we were capable to raise the equity funding, where we got, that $10 million round to actually build Cayman World of Kogaea. And then the bear market happened, and there is where I do reckon, for example, one of the another big mistake I've made. It has been to actually, scale the team again too fast and too quickly, and not directly from people that were actually, again, coming from the passion of the project, but they were more coming from the flashy object, the narrative and the momentum of NFTs, the fact that we raised $10 million. There were a lot of people that were jumping on board of that. You know, they saw the flashy objects, and and again, if you look at, you know, what has been delivered by those and what has been delivered, especially from them coming from the community, or especially when they are in the tough period, when the tough period came, there is a, you know, it's a day and night difference. But having said that, I think when we raised the $10 million, you know, we grew super fast internally. I mean, we went from a team of 5, 6 people to a team of 42 people in like 6, 9 months. um, and again, that has been probably another very big mistake. We grew too much too quickly. That ended up in being a defocus. I mean, we were already working on Genesis back then, and there the mistake has been made. You know, keep working with Roommate, to which we, you know, in order to get some discount, because Roommate was pretty much expensive, and you know, technically speaking, on paper they were like a very very notable studio. Turned out that actually they gave us the cheapest developers they had. And we had like a 1 year commitment with them to wrap it up Genesis. And then when Brian joined, you know, he spotted a lot of shit show there, but it was almost too late. We were committed. And then, you know, while building, and this is something, another struggle that I think we had to experience, and I think everybody actually in Web3 is experiencing the same struggle, to be honest, is the combination of being a game project and being a Web3 project. Because if you look at, you know, game, they do really require a lot of time when you build them. You know, games is not something simple. It's not something quick. It really requires months and years. You know, I see some people from our, you know, narrative and artist team, you know, even just for them to create amazing concept art that are useful for the narrative team and for the designing team and through the art team, they require time to craft. You know, gaming is a sort of form of art, and you can't actually put kind of pressure on artists. You know, art needs to take its own time. But this goes totally against what, you know, Web3 has been, or at least what, you know, I thought Web3, or what, you know, the Web3 expert that I brought on board taught me about what Web3 should be, which is, no, we need to deliver, we need to keep the community engaged, we need to do this, we need to list here, we need to list there, we need to have shitloads of PR going on, we need to pay this guy, we need to do 10,000 useless partnership, but at least we show to the Web3 industry that we are doing things. And at the end of the day, all of those things led to defocus. All of those things led to defocus. You know, we started running several other projects internally that required us to scale the organization, hiring more people, bringing more people in an organization such as quickly also created a lot of complexity, because you have no idea of how many fucking fights there have been between teams, especially in the marketing department. I had managers that couldn't even talk to each other, and I had to be like the babysitter with them every single day. And all of this, you know, again, led to defocus, led to, you know, delays, led to waste of resources, led to, you know, wrong projects. We had, you know, someone that was very good in kicking off projects and partnerships, and then, you know, starting them and never finish them, and then someone else, aka myself, has to pick them up, because of nowadays those partnerships were announced, and again, it was the useless partnership as always. So I think there has been this very, if I'm looking backwards, I think Web3 and gaming are still indeed very connected to each other. I'm still very, very bullish, and if you want to use a term, but I'm still really, really believe of the Web3 technology applied to games. And I don't see any other, you know, industry and product right now where Web3 could really, you know, make its way into the mainstream adoption rather than games. But I don't think that the way Web3 gaming and the Web3 is today is the right way. And I'm talking based on the experience. I mean, as you know, I've been on the front field for the last 4 years, and I took all the shit and all the lows and all the blames and everything. And at least now this is my, retrospective of how everything looks like. But to go through that, then we had to continue the story. If you look at the retrospective together, we had 2022 was still a half a good year across. We were already entered at the end of the day into the bear market, but we got, we were funded, we were capable to keep building products. But again, for the need of keep the Web3 world excited, we had to do a lot of other things that we just burned a lot of money. It's simply straightforward. We just burned money that could have not been burned there. We couldn't. We could avoid hiring several roles and saving several a lot of money. We should have had a total different approach and strategy. And it's easy to say now because now I've been through one path and I know that path won't work. And now looking backwards with the learnings that I've made, I know at least which path should work better. But unfortunately, we finished the money at the moment. Uh, so to fast forward, we at the end of the day, we have been capable to keep moving forward and working very hard on walk because at the end, walk has always been our ambition. It always been what we wanted to build. As you remember, I started this because I'm a very big Pokemon fan. I'm an MMO player. I'm a very big nerd, and my dream was to actually build a game that I can consider like a Pokemon adult version, where I can actually kind of living the society and economy that I was living when I was a kid. When I was a kid and playing Pokemon Yellow, I was really feeling myself to be a Pokemon trainer, and I thought, yeah, we can actually we can make this happen again. We can actually we can make it real. So that has always been our vision, and especially as soon as we raised the $10 million, this is exactly what we started immediately do. I mean, when we raised the funding rounds, we immediately started scaling up the team in the right positions in that case. If I look backwards, I think the jobs that Brian and the entire product gaming development team have done is astonishing. They made an amazing job, and I think there is where we didn't fail. Where we failed is on two fields. Field number one is the marketing, and especially because the marketing straight off the moment that I left the lead of the marketing, because at the beginning I was leading the whole marketing activities, the community, and I had to leave it. I left it and I end over it because I thought, okay, I need now to focalize more onto the organizational aspect. I need to make to structure the organization that will bring this, because it's a full-time job also, that making sure that people works together, making sure that deadlines are met, budget are fixed, and stuff like that. Regulations, laws, taxes. There are so many other things when you're running a companies, and actually remember that we have a very when you're working Web3, the complication, in order to do everything within the law are there is a several complexity if you want to do everything clean. So I thought, okay, I will move into those and I will end over the marketing activities. And I think we can saw, and definitely we can see this, that straight in the first few months after I endovered, the marketing and the community and everything were still pretty good. But I think it was more like sort of inertia coming from the previous months. But then as soon as the inertia was over, the marketing and community activation and stuff, in my perspective, some of them were not on par, were not there. And I think that it was the first mistakes I've made personally. And the second one where we did a huge fuck up, I think it has been on the Camon coin, on the token side of things. And the reason why is pretty straightforward, guys. I mean, I'm a Web2 person, and now I know how Web3 and tokens and everything works. But when I started a company, I had no clue, or at least I have a very few clue about it. So, I looked for people that should have had more experience than me, and I totally handed over to them and I say, okay, I don't understand this, but I trust you, so just make the things right. And well, looking backwards, and it's not me talking, it's just by looking at the overall token performances and everything that has been done on the token side, it wasn't there. So those, I think, are, looking backwards, probably the two things that I failed the most as a leader, because at the end of the day, when you're a captain of a ship, it doesn't matter if your chef is cooking something bad for your crew, if your sailman is not openly, properly open the sails. Yes, of course, it's directly his fault, but indirectly is always the captain fault. And I'm taking all of the, I'm pretty good in taking that. So looking backwards again, those have been, probably a very tough situation that at the end of the day, towards the end of 2023, we start looking at, the cash that we were still available on the balance, on the bank account, and the fact that at the end of the day, we were not making a lot of revenues, because indeed, all of the revenues that we were making were being made into Cayman Coin, and Cayman Coin that back then we were not, liquidating into the market. So we didn't have any USDT or any fiat coming into the company treasury, for several reasons again there. So we decided, okay, we need to, kind of scale down the cost and scale down the operations. And there is probably where, from, I would say, half of second half, process started in the beginning of 2023, but it really kicked off in the, on the second half of 2023 up until the first half of 2024, is where, I had to take like a very big knife and start cutting, and start really looking into the things that didn't work. And then is where I reckon, all of those mistakes that generated a lot of also conflicts within the organization, and within the team. So to make it things clear, guys, we budgeted in the beginning of 2023, we budgeted that we had runway up until April 2024. So we said, okay, with the money that we still have in the bank account, and considering that we are not making any revenues or substantial revenues that could, cover the cost of building such a game, because in any case, even if, we were, firing everybody else and just keeping the game development team, still, guys, we're talking about $80,000 to $100,000 burn rate a month, including the fact that we were paying taxes and stuff like that. Okay. So still pretty much expensive, even if the, minimum team requirement was met. And we had no way to actually sustain them. So we said, okay, up until what time do we have budget? We have still budget up until 2024 of April 2024. But, we are on a good track where there is a good opportunity for us that, maybe having built and having sold tokens onto the market, not even OTC during the previous years, the only tokens that we gave out from our foundation reserve was actually be given to team members, managers or advisors, or, chief of and chief of. We said, okay, then, let's try to raise again new money. If that doesn't work out in April 2024, we will figure out something. And I mean, we still have our, foundation reserve, which at the end of the day, the foundation reserve is meant for this. It's called foundation reserve. Is a reserve of funds of tokens that allows the project to, tap into they need to keep progressing. And so we said, okay, we still have a foundation reserve of around 300 million token across. I think more or less that should have been the number. And I think the token price was something like 0.0 half a cent. So if you do the math, was a foundation reserve worth around $1.5 million. And that was, good enough. It was a still, very low price, but still coming out of the bear market, but still worth $1.5 million. that you say, okay, I mean, $1.5 million, it's something that we can work with. We can run some OTC deals. We can keep running down the costs, trying to reduce the cost as the minimum. And with 1.5, in the foundation reserve value, we can run some OTCs here and there to keep fueling the project. And again, that's the meaning of a foundation reserve. Otherwise, there's no reason for a project having a foundation reserve. So then in April is where we said, okay, let's try to do we are ending up the money. We have no money left, so we need some extra cash within it. And so there we said, okay, maybe. I came with the idea, and there is where I took over. Finally, I took over all the, I took back onto the marketing, and I took over back onto the token activations and everything. Even though I wasn't happy, but there are so many reasons why I didn't fire the people before. Happy to give in to deep dive there as well, but I think I will write something as advice for Web3 founders. But having said that, the thought it was being okay. Maybe we can hit two birds with one stone, because we can run OTC deal with KOLs. You know, I've been, I saw a lot of running those. I'm into, KOL groups, and I see people posting OTC deals and stuff like that. And so I contacted a guy, one of the KOL that I know personally, which to be honest, I've been very surprised because the guy so far is one of the few KOL that I can consider a real professional. I don't really know if he's actually moving the needles, but at least from a professionalism perspective, chapeau to him. Is one of the few. I really loved working with him. A very professional person and very mindful person as well. And reach out to him and say, okay, we want to do this, blah blah blah. And so we ended up running with an agreement that we raised around $300,000, $300,000 and cash straight away in 72 hours. And we had to sell like at I think it was a 30-40% discount. And there is where the biggest mistake has been made, because I mean, it's nothing new. You guys know it already, but that deal came with a 3 months cliff for the KOLs. So meaning that the KOLs were paying in advance, but they were not getting any tokens up until 3 months after the deal was in. And the deal was like signed on the 17th of March, and the locks were opening on the 17th of July. And this is where something went really really bad, is because I always knew that you always want to have distribution of tokens to be spread across time, and you don't want a very big chunk of tokens unlocking in a given time. So that was my point of view. And again, also the intermediary on the other side also told me, yeah, it's better for you guys to do like a 3 months linear vesting instead of 3 months cliff. Maybe just at like 2 weeks of cliff, for example, if you wanna build a bit of treasury before of the KOLs or whatever. Something that we didn't, because at the end of the day we didn't sell tokens. It wasn't on our plan to sell tokens. We sold the tokens in OTC. Our plans wasn't to sell tokens in the market. We sold the tokens in OTC, but our plans it was to increase the value of the token. First of all, to make our community happy, because everybody were coming after 2 years of bear market where everybody lost money. And second one, it was also for us to increase the value of the foundation reserve again. So then in the case we had to do another OTC deal with other KOLs, we would have run it at a higher price and so on. We could have, sustained ourselves with this scheme, so to say. And but of course, the person that was in charge of this, the former chief strategic officer of the companies, that was like, no, and he was the expert. No, it's better for us to give them 3 month cliff. I'd rather give them higher discount with 3 month cliff rather than lower discount with vesting. And I said, okay, I mean, it goes against what I always heard, but you are the expert. I trust you. You've been with us since the beginning. So yeah, let's do this as you agreed. And there is where we call it the torpedo event happened, where We closed the deal, we got the money, the KOL promoted, the Kmon coin went from half a cent to almost 3 cents in a matter of 2 weeks. And then once we peaked, the selling pressure started coming. And we had no idea where this selling pressure were coming from, because we were not selling from our foundation reserve. And again, it's everything on chain. I know there is people out there saying that, stating that we have been dumping tokens on the market. Dude, just go look in the blockchain and check it. Fuck it. It's everything on chain. You can track the foundation reserve if you want. So we weren't selling. We expected some of the community of you guys taking profit. It was totally okay. It was totally fine. But the volume and the buying pressure we got, it was enough to sustain them. But the sell pressure kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, up until we noticed that the sell pressure was actually accelerating as we were getting close to the cliff end for the KOLs. And the only people knew about that, it was internally. I mean, nobody knew about the 17th of June to be the cliff opening of the KOLs, except internally. And so we said, okay, but who is then selling? Because the KOL aren't selling because they have no tokens. We aren't selling our treasury because we aren't selling. So who's this selling pressure came from? And turned out that, as mentioned already, that this information got leaked, or at least I don't know. I don't even consider it got leaked. That has been, it has been shared with pre-IDO investor that were coming and were just a bunch of group of friends of one person within the organization that actually helped me, that structured this deal, and they sold, and they kept selling, and they kept selling, and they kept selling, up until they went below the price at which the KOL bought. And again, that was also weird, because we said, okay, how is it possible that these people are selling at the price of like a third of a cent, considering that the only people that have that token at a third of a cent are the pre-IDO investor? And there is where we got the catch. Oh, it's actually them selling them. They actually had a lot of tokens for a lot of time at a very low floor price, and that created a catastrophe event. It was literally, guys, back then, just to be transparent, I lost like 8 kilos in 3 days, because the KOLs were very pissed off, as you can imagine, because they started calling us like, oh, you guys have us working and pumping your token, and now you're dumping on our head, eating all the profits, and now we're screwed, our community is screwed and everything. And I was there trying to explain them that it wasn't us. It wasn't us directly. There has been something that got leaked, and someone took advantage of this, and everything. And at the end, I was capable to find a solution where I found an hedge fund, Web3, that bought TC again tokens from us, and with the money that we got, we refunded the KOLs that wanted to get refunded. And so we burned. So we actually pumped the token. None of us got money. None of us were able to leverage this upside potential. Only few people got it. Then those people left, and left us with, of course, a bit of a ruined reputation, and of course not able to work with those KOL anymore. Just to be transparent, for example, we closed back then. I closed like 1 year advisor agreement with Ivan on tech, for example. He was supposed, and the guy was great. We were having meetings and calls, and where we were discussing things. He was sharing strategy and everything. And due to this, his community got wrecked. And since then, he never replied to my text again, because I gave him my word that we were not about to dump on his community. And then someone dumped on this community, and he thought it was us. And so then during the summer, he said, okay, now how do we keep running this? Because we were almost every time we were always being close to, in any case, to the walk early access. That has always been our main objective to achieve. But in the meantime, building the game came also every single time with complexities, and issues and here and there problems and requests again of fulfilling the needs of Web3, of giving people something to play in the meantime, because we want to in the meantime we want the token to rise, because if the token goes higher our foundation reserve worth more, and so we can run some OTC that we can use to pay the developers, and we can keep the ball running. It has been a total catastrophic, and not a catastrophic, but very complex situation and event to manage throughout the entire summer. And there is where, for example, I had my own token allocation as a team, that I was always being there, that I took it and I just sent it directly within the treasury of the company. So as of now, I'm not holding any K-Mon, and I haven't sold any K-Mon, because I actually put all my tokens into the company from the treasury funds to keep supporting, because at the end of the day it was the only fund. And so during the summer, we have been able, by selling part of my tokens, again in OTC, to this player, that was good because allows us to, it was not dumping and everything, to keep the ball running. And then I put also my own savings. But then in September, if you guys remember, we had the NFT sale that on Magic Eden, where we were aiming to raise around 200 and $300,000, and that on Magic Eden we ended up raising like $5,000, $10,000. That left us with literally no money. And so since August, myself and the management team, and then starting through the fall, everybody stopped getting paid. I'm not seeing a salary from the company since August. And as I said, I actually lived on my savings and put all the rest that I got. And find the people, because in any case we still had a bit of reserve funds, but those reserve funds were meant to be used in order to to our employees, to pay every single cent that I was owed, to pay their taxes, to pay their layoff pay, making sure that every employee were, getting get paid for what they, what their rights were. And I'm happy to say that indeed we have done this. We didn't left any employee, with money, without money, without shutting them off and say, okay, fuck off, you're not going to see any cent from today and tomorrow. We covered all of our obligations with everybody. But then is where we also started working as a side gig, and there is also where the overall, how can I say, overall speed of development slowed down, because there were no money and people also had to bring food on their table. And especially, if you are the founder like me, you're gonna work even not paid. You're gonna live on your savings. You're gonna do everything that you can to bring the ball forward. But if you're an employee and you have no stakes within the company and everything, you know, is already a great gesture for you to keep working some hours here and there to support a project, which most of the employees have done up until today. But it cannot, at least for them, couldn't go any further. So then, our last chance, and then we'll wrap it up. Our last chance, we have wrapped up the retro. Our last chance was indeed the PIMS race, because we said, okay, we cannot raise it for, and also that the timing, the gaming project are not raising, and we have tried everything, guys. We have cooperated with Yellow Panther, we cooperated with all the fucking gaming grades or whatever the gaming shit Web3 KOL, what the fuck it is. Nothing moved the needle. We just burned shitloads of money, and it's just it's just a so facade of industry in some perspective. It's just so everything is just a facade. It's just false in many things, and not that we didn't try. We tried hard, and we spent the few extra that we could raise here and there to keep creating hype and everything, but nothing came through, because at the end of the day all of those people are not bringing any sort of value. It's just it is what it is. Or unless they're just bringing values to themselves and to a few grinders within their communities, but not for the actual project. The ROI is just not there. But so then we said, okay, let's try with the PIMS trays, and we were extremely surprised that during the IDO, we were able to raise $820,000, despite also, we had to drop off from, plain. Some people ask from our community, why don't you guys are not, you are partnering with ChangeGPT, why your guys are not, launching there? And it's the simple reason is that they rejected us, and they rejected us just because of don't know. They told us that our game is subpar, our tokenomics was wrong, and you know what? Funny enough, we never fulfilled any due diligence form. They even said that our partners were like tier 3 and 4 when all of our partners are actually tier 1. We have Sonium, Abstract, Chainlink, even ChangeGPT is a partner of ours. So, and trying to figure where they got those infos from, just look at who went work there. But having said that, we were extremely happy and surprised that we found paths that were, keen to work with us and help us. And at the end of the day, we raised $820,000 from the ADO. That it was an astonishing amount. It was like 25-30% almost higher than it was like 50 or 60% higher compared of the objective that we set of 500K, because we did the math. Okay. And we said, okay, to actually reach the point of walk, not be closed in early access, but actually walk to be in the stage of be launched and capable to generate revenues by subscription, we need more or less $500,600,000, but 500,000 is a soft cap. We can, we have been good in, working without money and reducing our cost at the bare minimum. So if we need to eat, bread and onions for such a while, we will eat bread and onion, but at least we're gonna able to release walk in not early access anymore, but in a payable form. And that was the soft caps. And so when we raised the money, we were extremely happy. And then we run the TGE, and for the TGE we had cooperation with shitloads of agencies, shitloads of again of KOLs, and even like 200 alpha groups that cost us like $12,000. That should have brought us, tension on the TGE and everything. And I think everybody saw how the TGE went. And just for FYI, to open the LP, we put our last funds and some of our personal funds to open the LP. And then the TGE didn't work out, and people start asking for refunds. And so then what happened is, the overall amount of money that we ended up raised with, it was like probably less than $100,000. And there is where we said, okay, this, we can't keep going like this. $100,000 is definitely not enough to build what we promised. We are not here, to grab people money. If we know that we cannot deliver, we are not going to do that. And so it came to the decision to, refund all the pre-IDO buyers, all the private investors, everyone that, directly invested money within the IDO, within PIMS, to get refunded. And as I said in the message, I know that this would have been pissed off, the players that participating and farm the token or stake the token and stuff like that. And even the KOLs that, work for a free token allocation. And there is a funny story here that I will share maybe later on some South Korean agency and their KOLs. But we said, okay, we need to limit the damage here. We need to make sure that investor that really deposited funds and bought with their own money, the tokens, do not get harmed. Because at the end of the day, the scenario, if we let this going, so meaning that on Thursday last week, we would have opened the claim as everybody was expecting, people tend to forget. They don't see what actually was coming. What was happening, what it would have happened if we let the claim going, is that the TGE totally failed and the token was already down the IDO price like by 25%, and there were no buying pressure. And there were a very good chunk of amount of token and selling pressure coming towards pimps as the claim opens. So what a happening would have ended, it would have ended that everybody, KOLs, farmers, or whoever, would have rushed out to sell the tokens they got, it would have been a bank run. It The PIMS token would have died to zero and the LP would have emptied in less than a second. And so, yes, we would have been, compliant with the agreement because everybody would have got their token, but they would have got a token of a dead project. They would have got a dead token of a dead project after 30 minutes. And again, remember that, the players and the farmers were like on a 9 months vesting, and some of the KOLs were on a 6 months vesting. And if we didn't raise and considering that we didn't got even the money from the IDO, we couldn't even say, oh, we will keep going, you know? No, we couldn't keep going because we had no money. So there's no way for us to recover the PIMS token from a possible death scenario that it would have happened. And so it wouldn't end up with everybody with their tokens on their wallet worth literally zero, vested for 9 months, meaning worth zero of people that actually directly invest in money losing those funds and totally destroy uh, the overall even the good things that are still even came on and everything. And so, and even the few funds that we put into the liquidity that you know if we don't get those funds actually are useful for us to keep running or to keep building what we have to build. So that came to the decision to stop it. And again, is I know someone has been disappointed by this, but guys, you know, sorry for my Francisism, but take the head out of your ass and look at the reality of the fact that if we let this going, you would end up with a token worth zero and no way for bringing it up, and people would have lost money. In the scenario that the reason that what we have done, the token is still worth zero, but at least people didn't lost directly money. And so we didn't had a negative impact across the overall ecosystem, which is, at the end, walk and came on is still the most precious things. And we didn't want to ruin it. And we could have ruined it. And so that came the decision there to stop it. So to go there, and here we are. Here it's me sharing a bit of the retro of what happened, and now let's talk about the future, how the future looks like. So as I said at the very beginning of this, of this panel, the Kmon project is dead. No, the answer is not dead. Is not, and I'm not willingness to give up. And together with me, neither the team member of the project or willingness to give up. Everybody, we're still very committed to it, and I know that also you guys and the community. So up until we are here working together, this is not dead. But there is a but, and the but is this is a big setback. What does it mean, a setback? It means that now, considering that we have no funds left, and neither I personally, I literally need guys to find a new job because otherwise I have no clue how to pay my bills. Actually, at the end of this month, I don't really know already how to pay them. We need to find a new job. Not only me, everybody within the team needs to find a new source of income for us to live and to keep working. So I would expect, and what you can expect from us is, first of all, a very big slowdown. The development it's going to be paused for the moment, because of course we need to figure it out how to get back on track on our personal level, in order to pay our own bills first, because otherwise it won't be possible for us to work on walk even as a side gig. A side gig implies that you have a main gig. uh, and since we don't have a main gig, we need to figure that out. Second one, as the companies, as you know, we have done this. We didn't run this, as a shitty project. We are actually, a fully established set of companies with investors and everything. So now, as the next year unfolds, we will need to, shut down the several companies in order to be compliant with all the laws and the regulation across the different countries, pay all the taxes, trying to, as much as we can, to fulfill all of our obligations our towards our creditor, which luckily are not that much, and so we should be able to cover up them in order to to clean it, and in any case be as clean as possible for a new beginning. In the meantime, how I see the future, I actually have an idea that I will just gonna share, but you can't ask me. I'm not gonna be able to tell when and how. What I'm able to tell, what, how, and when, not yet. I'm studying. So the first things first that I want to do, and I'm working closely with one of our equity investor to first of all safeguard the IP. That's the most important thing in this case, because of course the IP is not at my name, is not at Brian name, is actually at the company name. And since the company is going to shut down, my first objective now is to safeguard the IP. So making sure that the IP of Walk and everything that we build is saved. It shouldn't be complicated. It's a pretty straightforward process to do. We're just finalizing and understanding the different nitty gritty details of how to do this in the cleanest way as possible in order to not having any possible backslash in the future in case the IP will be successful. I don't want people that didn't help us, imagine that work became successful because we take it and we are going to start working again. I don't want to have, like, in 5 years, works is successful. Someone came back to me and say, hey, I had like a 1% of that IP. I want 1% of the money. Fuck off, man. Where were you? You just grab everything you can and you left. So fuck it off. I don't want this to happen. So I just need to make sure that when we're going to do this, it's going to be done in the proper way to have also safeguarding in the future. And once that is done, we will reorganize also internally with the team. We will probably need to reorganize a new venture, a new company, where, as we're gonna go into a side gig approach, probably we will onboard whoever part of the team is already keen to work as a side gig also within the cap table of the company to keep working, because of course they will work for free. So at least they will work for equity, as to say. And then there is another kind of idea that I had, which is I won't really go back into very big community centric and normally as I think Web3 should be used in gaming and in gaming studio, not the way it has been used. I have a clear idea of how it should be. And now my next step, it will be, actually, if it's possible, I need to figure it out how, but I think everything is possible. I need to figure it out how, even creating a DAO for the Cayman holders and the NFT holders. We will figure it out maybe together with you guys. But let's say a community DAO that will also own a portion of the Cayman IP directly within your company. So kind of that the DAO is an equity partner of the new company, and of course, based on your token, NFT, whatever, you will also be, technically speaking, via the DAO, you will be a shareholders. So like there is, the founding team, the working team, and then the DAO made by the Cayman holders and the Cayman NFT holders. And as I said, we will figure it out maybe together. Will also be a shareholder of the company and really be back to community focus and community centric, and go back to the very beginning when we started, because when I started, it was really about the community, and I want to go back to that. Second, last but not least, and then I think I'm done. But then open for any question. Last but not least, I'm also decided to change the strategy. As I said, I don't believe in the Web3 gaming market as it is right now. Is a place where it is mostly made by extractor, both from a player perspective and also from KOL perspective. As I said, nor KOLs have any sort of impact. I mean, they have an impact in bringing farmers that grinds whatever you do for X amount of days, and then once they finish, they move on and it's over. And this is not valuable. This is not valuable at all. The entire, I'm very, very against. I think I will write a piece of it. The entire Web3 gaming space is just a bunch of people jerking off each other, saying how cool they are, and throwing party and showing that they are the coolest KOLs because they have the coolest deal. But at the end of the day, look at the ROI they brought to the company they worked with is almost none. There's literally no value. And indeed, it's also funny because I saw some Web3 KOL blaming off the grid because he's spending money on Web2 gamers and streamers, but because the Web2 gamers and streamers actually bring ROI. And so I saw Web3 people start complaining against Ganzilla because he's spending money with them and not with the Web3 guys. But aside from that, I really want to go the indie gaming indie route. What does it mean? Not Web3. You won't see us if we're gonna start back. You won't see us promoting via Web3 KOL anymore. You won't see us there. You will see probably very few collaboration, but those collaboration will be in Web2. Those collaboration will be mostly within the community. It will be mostly towards the community, uh, working like a normal indie studio. Because at the end of the day, we are a gaming indie studio, and people needs to realize that every Web3 gaming studio is just an indie studio, and there is a plenty of indie studio out there that have been successfully working their ass off together with their community. They started with a small community, and then they growing and growing and growing the community organically. It took time. They took time to develop. They took time to grow the community up until the point they were so big that nobody that people couldn't they were forced to look at them. And this is the kind of the strategy I want to follow, I think. And this is also the reason why I'm running this on Discord. I really think that our reborn, it has to start again from the community centering. It has to start from being a gaming studio and not a Web3 gaming studio. It has to be a gaming studio. And the fact that we're using blockchain, because we will keep using blockchain, guys. I will keep using the Camel token within Walk. We will keep using the NFTs. We will keep using the same fucking technology. The game, the product won't change by a sec. The only thing that it will change is going to be the fact we won't chase the hype anymore. We won't going around trying to chase the hype. We will just be very pragmatic and based on the fundamentals of creating a very great gaming experience for our communities. And if it's going to take us years in order to scale up to a point that we can sustain ourselves financially, if it's going to take years before the community becomes big enough for the Camon token to pump to $1, it's fine. It's fine. Because this is how things have been built. Everybody's talking about Roblox without forgetting that Roblox, the first release of Roblox was in 1995 or 1997, something like that. It's almost 30 years. Now it's Roblox, but it started 30 years ago. And this is, and it started as a side gig and everything that I just said. So if we're, the moment that, it's not an if, the moment that we will reactivate and kick off again, this is how we will work. This is how the direction that I decided I think is the right direction to go. uh might be that some of you agree with me, might be that some of you don't agree with me, and it's totally fine. And I'm very happy to hear why you do agree and why you don't agree, because might be that you might have seen something that I haven't saw. And I'm always keen to learn from everyone. But I think at least this should be the way to go for our reborn. And I think it's the only way for us to really have the first game mainstream that use Web3 technology. If you start from Web3, it wouldn't be possible. It's not, and that's the thing. It's not about, and I keep saying, it's not about bringing Web2 people in Web3. No, it's bringing Web3 within Web2. And in order to bring Web3 within Web2, you need to be Web2. You don't need to be Web3. You need to be Web2 using Web3, and then having Web2 people start interacting with the Web3. This is how you bring Web3 into the Web2. Instead of trying to bring Web2 people into the Web3 industry, where every single time Web2 people comes into the Web3 industry, they get wrecked and then they leave. And then we cry because there is a bear market. This is kind of the cycles. But having said that, this is kind of, a long retrospective. I've been talking for almost an hour. Actually, yeah, in 2 minutes it's going to be an hour since I've been talking. So if anyone have any question, any comments, that's your time to open. Um, Raise your hands, and I'll try to bring on stage, so you can ask your question, or even uh, no, no, no. I see there has been a some of conversation going um on the chat. What about for the Smoke 3 creators? Anything, any plan? Yes, man. I'm actually talking with Nick about it. Of course, right now everything is also a bit slowish. It's also Christmas period, and we have been coming from like a very, 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 very strong marathon than sprint. So kind of chill out a bit. I just like now to rest a bit and deal with my family, my kids, and recharge the batteries a bit. But yeah, I'm talking with Nick for the Smoke 3 creators. I'm trying to, amongst everybody and all the chaos that we've been working with, at least you guys have created some value and some content. So I'm working with him to figure it out some sort of what can be done. You will hear more from us probably in the next after Christmas for sure. So probably in the next few days. Let's see if there is any other question. Okay, you guys type in. You don't want to step into the stage with me, so what about pre-sale chest items just ripped? No, those will still be available. Actually, there is another things that I want to say. As you know, guys, we had run, the early access passes sale with the bundles and everything. And, and of course, that has been done with a specific, timeline in mind. So, we will set up a form that for everyone that wants to get refunded of their purchased amount, we will refund it. We will refund in Cayman because, guys, it's the only currency that we have. We have a very small foundation reserves, but I think it's fair. So we will refund in Cayman. Whoever wants to get refunded, of course, to be refunded, you will need to send back us the early access pass. You will need to send back to us the eggs, all the NFT items, everything that you got within your bundle. You need to send it back to us, and then we will refund your bundle with Cayman tokens. Thank you very much, man. Let's see any other question. When the Sapphire card, I mean, of course, the Pimps point is out of the thing, but the claiming again is just a matter of time for me to find the time to set that up. I just need to build it up. Of course, during the last months, I've been very very busy in creating all the staking and everything for Pimps. But yeah, as soon as the first weeks of January, and I will be back and I will rest a bit. I will create the claiming portal for that where you can claim and you can get I think there was some eggs or any other options. I just need to put everything together. It's just a matter of time. Because also I need also to develop the Cayman staking protocol that allows you to stake Cayman to earn Cayman. Because remember that we also got Caymans to be used as a staking rewards. So keep going through the questions. In the meantime, guys, I'm moving because I need a cigarette. Recovering and going through the entire year. 4 years has been kind of a journey. Also sharing everything. So I just need to take a cig now. Um, Going back. So there are no that for now. I mean, for now, as of for the next couple of weeks, I don't think so. There won't be a lot of progresses. There might be some progresses on my end on the staking and on the claiming portal for the Sapphire Hack. For what concern walk, I wouldn't expect that because of course we need to reorganize a bit for that. Um, but I could say that from a estimates perspective, a first version of early access of walk where at least you have the first part of the questing and everything technically is 4 weeks away. There are 4 weeks missing in development for 4 weeks, almost a month. So but yeah, probably in January we will, as soon as we resettle everything and blah blah blah, because again, also consider that Brian, for example, has been working without getting paid, and also he needs to understand his position as well and everything. So there is a bit of conversation going on across, um, but we are all committed to deliver. Is equity crowdfunding community driven not a viable option? Is pretty much complicated, the equity crowdfunding. Either we can go for a normal crowdfunding with with Kickstarter or something like that. But I also thought, since we are Web3, and I truly believe that Web3 can be a great way for even indie studio to support themselves financially rather than running Kickstarters in the proper way. I'm actually thinking to have indeed creating a DAO where the Kmon token holder and the DAO gets, like, I don't know, 10, 15% or 20% of the new company. And if you hold the Kmon, then you're part of the DAO. Absolutely. Is there any useful thing community can actually do? First of all, I think, stay with us, don't leave, because if you leave, then the project really dies. Second one, it really depends on, what your skill set are, guys. If you are developers, if you're marketeers, if you want to help us, send us your CV, send us your information, what you're capable of, what your skill set are, how much time you have available. Let's really transform this and go back on, a community-led project. Um, I said refund. Is there anything about cashbacks? Um, the thing is, the cashbacks was indeed into pimps, and the pimps didn't work out. So we're taking the loss. Everybody's taking the loss, technically speaking, and that's why I'm thinking the refunds is the best option. So if you bought an extra, and I think, Lord, you did, you can just send us back the extra, and we will send you refund the money, and we can close it like that. I'll keep reading. What about cashback in the bundle sale? Those not wanted to refund, those which happens in 9 months in pimps, but there is no pimp. So all this in came on. That said, yeah, I know. Is not the best option and idea, but on the other hand, again, look forward. Don't look backwards. If you look forward by doing a refunds, those extra items that are out will be used again, will be resold, reminted in the future for bringing again cash within the community, within the project. If we do leave you guys with those items and give you the cashback in Kmon, then we ended up there. We have less Kmon from our side, and we're missing the potential future revenues that we're going to make by resell the NFT that have been generated and that have been assigned. So that's simple like that. Is Genesis going to be shut down? That actually a very another good question. Yes, Genesis will be shut down. We will probably in the next week. We'll probably look into what can be kept up and running. I'm working to keep at least the trainer hub, so the trading of NFTs and everything up and running. Overall, the web platform. Genesis will need to be shut down because at the moment it costs us around $3,000 a month in server cost, and it's played by 150 people at the moment on a daily basis, and is not generating any revenues. I actually thinking to maybe I want to talk with Brian about that, but I was actually thinking to take the Genesis code base and making it open source. So if everybody from the community want to, pick it up Genesis and continue the work, is free to do it. But I will need to talk with Brian. It's just an idea that I had. It's not yet confirmed, but I think it might be a good thing. Yeah, you can still refund those key bundle even if you already open and hatch the eggs. Yes, you just send the hatched eggs over. It's not a problem. What about leaderboard pins token? Those were granted for months. Yeah, those won't be available because, as I said, pimps won't be available. And as I said, as I mentioned at the beginning, earlier, um, it's not changing. I mean, if we let the PIMS token going, you would ended up with, yes, a million worth of PIMS, and sorry, a million worth. You would ended up with a million PIMS worth zero, with no future looking of the token to recover, because the token would have been dead. And in that case, technically nobody could complain against us because we delivered what has been promised. We gave the tokens, and the token has been killed, and it's gone. So the scenario now is that is a sum zero sum game, is 0 over 0. Yeah, the trainer hub and the website. Yes, my plan is to try to keep it up and running because it's not that expensive to keep it running, of course. And so yeah, that could be the plan, is to keep that up and running, of course. So the trading of mons can be still done and everything. Because remember, in any case, we have the Abstract team, which is waiting for us to launch the game on Abstract. We have Sonium, the blockchain from Sony, waiting for us to launch the game on Sonium. We are actually designing right now a partnership agreement with the biggest World of Warcraft esport team called Method. 12 times world champions. They try walk. They like the game a lot, and they want to cooperate with us also in helping us building the game and give us feedbacks. And we are currently discussing what can be done together. So there is a lot of good things going on, and we don't want to burn those. We want to keep those running. It's just more like it's going to take a bit more time. Well, Lord, technically you can check which months you got by the scan, by Polygon scan. You can see which mon ID you got minted. Um, so technically you can figure that out. But you can always cheat. And from my perspective, doesn't really care. So at least if you got 3 eggs, just send us back 3 eggs. I think we won't be so picky and choosy and figure it out. Oh, you send us the rookie and you kept the hero. I don't think it's not gonna be a problem. Was not gonna make a mini game collection like year 8.
where the crypto will be used by the games that will be built by the community. I mean, guys, you can build already. I mean, the APIs are opened. The blockchain are open, but you can just call in the APIs, and by the API you can collect all the information. There is no authentication needed, so it's actually already open. So you can already start building if you want. I missed something important. Cayman still have a value in the team future plan. Yes, Cayman is the value and is the core. And as I said, despite we will change the marketing, the go-to-market strategy in the future, which is not going to be Web3 market strategy anymore, but it will be normal indie game studio. The Cayman token will be still used within the Cayman game and World of Kogaea. It has to be there. Is what makes the Cayman World of Kogaea different. Is the reason why we believe Web3 is meant for gaming, and also it could even have a better impact later on with this DAO idea, where if you are a Cayman holder, then you are part of the DAO, and the DAO actually owns equity of the new company that will hold the IP. Yeah, and actually, I really love the support, but I also know what every time those come things, it's also the reason why we decided to burn the third that was supposed to come back to our treasury, because there is fathers saying that we are money grabbers and everything, and we are not money grabbers, and we don't want to be labeled as one. And second one, we always thought that by taking a portion and giving staking capabilities in the meantime, also for you guys, while waiting for something or for a new investor that buy came on, in the meantime they can take the came on, hold them, stake them, and earn some rewards in forms of extra came on. Question. So in my opinion, Web3 gaming will start getting big hype across the board again over the next 6-12 months. If that happens, have you thought about how to take advantage of that? Could that make it possible to raise new funds, for example? Yes, of course. You know, raising funds, if the market of Web3 gaming is hyped again, it makes everything much easier. Raising funds is going to be way easier and everything. So that's also the reason why we don't want to give up. We have built so hard. We literally built and worked our ass off for the last 4 years, that it will be just a shame, to give it up. So we don't want to give up, but we just need to figure it out how it's the proper way to move forward. And I want to move forward very, very community centric. And that, for example, is also reason one. Some of a major one of our equity investor, that they invested like almost $2 million within the equity, is fully supportive of us and has been cheering us for everything that we have done. And they even said that in their old portfolio company, they never saw a team uh, going above and beyond to trying to make it work. And it was kind of very supportive of ours. So yeah, we are. Yeah, will reopening came on staking help the company while you take the break? Yeah, that's actually the idea, and that's why I will still would like to offer came on staking, came on staking. And technically speaking, I have already the contract written, because it's the one that I wrote for pimps. I just need to make some changes, because I'm actually thinking to. Because if you remember, in the pimps staking, you could stake pimps to get pimps, and then you can boost your APR by staking Cayman. But in this case, since it will be Cayman to get Cayman, I'm actually thinking that then you can boost your APR by staking Cayman NFTs. So imagine that if you stake, for example, a hero, you get, I don't know, 1.7, 1.6 multiplier. If you stake a rookie, you get 1.1. If you stake two rookie, you get 1.15, and so on and so forth. If you stake an aura, you get 1.5, regardless if it's a shit aura or if it's a strong aura. I still need to do some, some math and some logic design there. But yeah, so in this way, while we are, taking these steps, we can in any case give something back to the holders and also bring in some extra value as well as over the NFTs, because then you want to have strongest NFTs. If you can't use them for play, at least you can stake them, and those will grant you better APR. There is. I can. I mean, there is a Swagger where you can see all the different endpoints that can be used. Um, we can share those. Yes. So it will be able to play walk at all in some sort of EA after January. Land claims just nothing at the moment until it's sorted. Yes, I mean the plan is to release an EA version in January or as soon as possible. As I said, we need to first of all figure it out the best way to proceed. And as I said, it's gonna be also there, from a organization and legal perspective, pretty complicated matters because there is company that has to be closed, balance sheet that has to be designed, taxes that has to be paid, IP and contracts that has to be properly drafted and everything. But yeah, the plan is that one. Yeah, I would love so, but it's you need to always be. I'd like to close the things in the cleanest way as possible. At the moment, we are on par with all the taxes paid and everything. We want to make sure that everybody that has been involved is harmed as less as possible, and also because anything bad, it could have directly impact also on our personal life. So that's the thing, we want to do the things the right way and doing properly. No, even in everywhere in the world, but when you declare technically speaking, when you declare bankruptcy, then a judge has been appointed, and then they're looking into the reason why the bankruptcy is gone, and then it's kind of if they find, technically speaking, if there is the, how can I say, bad management, they could consider the director personally responsible for that. Not that is our case, but it's something that you don't want to open. You really want to avoid those things, because it might end up that someone, a judge will rule out that by doing this that we thought it was totally legit, the judge decided no, that it wasn't legit, so you're personally liable. But it was legit. No, it's not, from my opinion, because then you go into judging opinions, and
it's kind of a tricky actor. The chest drops and land purposes. I mean, the chest drops is actually to give you, when the A will open, you will get, those items that is meant for you to have a head start. And the land claim is actually for when we're gonna open up the lands, because in Walk there is the land concept where you can own your piece of land, and either commercial or residential. Residential, you can build your own base. Commercial, you can open on your own shop. And then of course those are the land claims allows you to get those. You want to drop rates? I think we have them. Yeah, we can. I think it shouldn't be an issue to share them as well. Just to clarify, Walk will stay open, Genesis will close. Yeah, Genesis will close for sure. Walk might be, yeah, stay still open. We need to figure it out again budget wise, because as I said, we have no money left. So everything comes from our pocket. And also from our pocket, we don't have a lot of money left. um, but yeah, ideally, yeah, Walk costs like a fraction of what Genesis was supposed to cost. So we might be able to keep Walk open up until EA. Can we change the drop so holding them gets the top tier instead of refund? Yeah, could be an option. I mean, most of these are good ideas. I will say that, shoot them into the chats. Let's open a conversation. And again, guys, I will just already say sorry, of course, if we are not immediately reacting to everything, because you can imagine there is a lot of things going on, and especially we are all also, and even myself, would like to take a sort of a break, at least in these holidays, days, Christmas, spending a bit of time with the family, recharge my batteries, not having to, fight with with everybody with KOLs or of everything. Recharge the batteries to start again fresher. So again, we might gonna be, less available in the next days, a week, just because we need to rest a bit, especially myself and all of the rest of the team. More, yeah, even AI Axel, yes, AI Axel also needs a lot of rest. Sanjay, Michelangelo, Brian, myself, Bart, which you guys don't know, but is the guy managing all the financial messes. Yeah, we need a bit of rest, you know, and recharge, because I really also myself, I really personally feel like emptied. It's really even difficult sometimes to concentrate. I give everything that I had during the last 6 months and in the last sprints of PIMS, and now I just feel very, very mentally tired. Need to
take a breath and kick up again. What can we do as a community members in the meantime? I think be awesome as always you have been, guys. The bad things you can do as a as a community members is enjoy the time, be supportive with each other, stay with us, uh, help us also. I will think so. I think the best way that you can do is really really help us to really help us. Sorry, this is my nephew that is calling me because, as you know, family is coming over for Christmas, and my nephew is coming calling me Ziumbi, 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 Uncle Umbi, Uncle Umbi. No, what I'm saying is help us also, trying to clean the community and start a community from scratch. One of the things that we have been thinking with Sanjay and Axel was even to create a new group on Telegram from scratch completely, and start fresh again. Because also, if we look at the groups right now, we have plenty of people that have been there, not at all for the project, not at all for the community. I think kind of even restarting from there and having your support in, highlight and show to the people what walk is, what we want to build, you know, be the awesome community guys that we've always been. Is there any point on keep staking in V2 stake season? No, there's no point at the moment. Yeah, we can even rebrand, technically speaking. But again, I think indeed maybe a fresh start with a new community, cleaning up. The Discord I wouldn't delete it because we took us a lot of work to making Discord, getting to the point it is. But maybe indeed cleaning Discord from all the users and then let people join in again from zero might be an idea. Shut down the current groups and creating the groups again from new could be a good idea as well. But again, it's a community thing, so I will say, really, guys, let's work on this together. Again, going back on what can we do as a community, help us recreate the community, but the healthy and the community that we were at the very beginning. The community made of the people. I'm also even thought to shut down Telegram, but I know that people cannot use Discord in some countries, so maybe we can use both. Yeah, me too. Guys, I still have 5 minutes. Then I need to start prepping for Christmas dinner. So any 5 minutes question? What's for dinner? Fish. But I've been appointed to take care of the vegetables tonight. I'm usually the one who cooks. Well, technically speaking, if you are Catholic, on the Christmas Eve dinner, you shouldn't eat meat. You should eat fish. Technically speaking, I mean, my family side, we never eaten fish at Christmas dinner, and sorry, Christmas Eve. But my wife's side, they eat fish. So, and this time is wife family. So yeah, we're gonna have fish. Yeah, I'm also agnostic. Thank you, Sol. Yeah, trading came on checks and decks will be available. Yes, still totally available. Um, there might be might be some issues with I'll tell you already with Bybit, as we are also trying to figure it out market making, because Bybit does have requirements in order for not having the ST label.
And for example, in the last 2 days, we went down due to the liquidity requirement, and they just sent me the new requirement that will go in place as the 1st of January or the 6th of January. So there might be some issues on Bybit, while instead on Gate and Maxi, there everything has been so far so good. While on Dex, yes, totally, there's no requirement. So yes. Okay, last the 2 minutes. What about renting? Yeah, that has to be redeveloped. But I will say at the moment it is there. We have the capabilities now on the contract. We have the functionalities and everything. But yeah, it has to be redone. Okay, so then, guys, we'll say thank you very much. Happy holidays, Christmas, whatever holidays you're celebrating today. Uh, Happy New Year, and as I said, let's just take a few days break, everybody. Let's stay with our family. Let's enjoy the holidays. Let's recharge our batteries, and of course, we will keep you posted as we will progress now towards the new run. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. And again, I'm sorry we ended up this way, to be honest. This project has been the dream of mine, and I'm really, really sorry it ended up. I mean, that it didn't ended up. I mean, we ended up here, and now we need to go. We need to restart. Um, but I've learned from my mistakes, and I know now that if we're gonna have a second chance, we're gonna have a second chance together. And now I won't let really nobody ruin this. And the thing is, I always said I will never let anybody ruin this, and then I did. But now I know how people can ruin the things, and so now I know what I need to keep an eye on in order to avoid shit show to happen again. Thank you very much. Have a great holidays and have a great year, guys. Bye bye.